To take stock of what we're grateful for. So I'm out here on the deck looking around to see all the things that I'm grateful for. One of them has to be this orchid cactus, bright red. It's the second day that this flower's been open, which is unusual. In the past few weeks, we've been very lucky. We've had red ones, orange ones, pink ones, more than we've ever had in the past. And there is another one on the other side of the deck, also a red one. The plants aren't that attractive, but the flowers are magnificent. As I look around, I realize the other thing I'm pretty happy about is that we can come out here and just pick vegetables for dinner. We have a vegetable garden, but it's fun to have things on the deck. One of the things we have is this great big tomato. It was bigger this morning, and we realized it had far exceeded the pole that we gave it to be on. And as a result, we had to come up with a new plan. So we took two of the main stems and carefully bent them down to the railing, where they're now being supported by Velcro strips. The branches are just covered with little tiny super sweetie tomatoes. You can see these bunches of tomatoes, and they ripen every day. A bunch of them ripen. It seems like you turn around and more of them are ripe every day. So we didn't want to lose them to the wind. So this very long part of this tomato is now living on the railing. The Velcro strips are great. They don't harm the tomato in any way. This sucker that got away from me is still on the pole that we had originally had it on. And then there's another branch that extends over on this side of the railing. We'll see how that works. Next to it, we have a Mexican Sourgherkin. This is the first year we've tried to grow these. They're little tiny fruit that look like very small, like 1-inch watermelons. And they are indeed very, very sour. I haven't had any for a while because Larry eats them right off the vine. In fact, I can't show you any because I think he's eaten them all. It's climbing all over a sunflower. This sunflower has been the constant perch of a pair of goldfinches, and they're eating all the seed out of it. I'm not sure how they're going to get the seed at the bottom, but we'll keep an eye on them, and I'm sure they'll figure it out. There are more sunflowers in the vegetable garden that are starting to mature, so I'm sure they'll appreciate them later. This big plant, actually 3 plants in a pot. These are Minnesota midget melons. They're little tiny cantaloupes. The cantaloupes will get to be about 5 inches when they're mature. Right now it's absolutely covered by bees. At risk of my life, I can probably show you one of the little melons, but really the bees don't like me to be that close. There's a melon down in there. The flowers are absolutely covered by bees. And there are flowers everywhere. So we'll see how that works. I decided to grow them on a cage because otherwise they would have crawled over the entire deck. The cage seems to be working. A 5-inch fruit shouldn't be that heavy, so that should work as well. This pot had 5 tomatoes in it at the beginning of the season. Many too many for this tiny little pot. 2 of them survive. And that's not a tomato, that's the remains of a zinnia. It's still having a lot of fruit clusters, but it's having a lot of foliage problems. So I'm not sure how long it will be with us. I have some suckers that I have potted up with new roots, so if it needs to be replaced, we'll replace it later. Of course, we have the real vegetable garden. The real vegetable garden has been feeding us a lot. We've been giving away squash to friends and neighbors. It's still giving us a lot of squash. We also have carrots and onions and cucumbers and jalapeno peppers, green beans, more tomatoes, of course. So I think the sugar snap peas are probably done. Bok choy has gone to seed. These are all things that, I can't help being grateful for. We can always just run out in the yard and get something for supper, or maybe pick our whole supper out of the garden. Good to have things to be grateful for. Make a list of your own. Makes you feel better.